What happens when victory slips away in an instant? How did disobedience to a single command lead to one of the most painful defeats in Islamic history? And how did the Muslims rise from the ashes of despair? This is the story of the Battle of Uhud, where bravery met tragedy and where faith was tested like never before. Stay with me to uncover its lessons and legacy. But before we dive into this epic story, if you haven't watched my video on the Battle of Badr, I highly recommend it. It sets the stage for everything we're about to discuss. You'll find the link in the description below or right here on the channel. Fought in 3 AH, the Battle of Uhud is the second major battle in Islamic history, occurring just 1 year after the Muslims' astonishing victory at Badr. While Badr was a testament to faith and divine support, Uhud became a lesson in patience, unity, and steadfastness. It all started with the Quraysh's burning desire for revenge. Following their humiliating defeat at Badr, the Quraysh leaders gathered a formidable army: 3,000 soldiers, 300 camels, 200 horses, and even 700 goats. Their plan? Erase Islam and avenge their fallen warriors. Under the command of Abu Sufyan, they marched towards Medina. But this time, they brought an unexpected addition: a women's wing led by Hind bint Utbah, a figure whose actions would shock the world. Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, led the Muslim army of 700 men, including 50 archers and just 4 horsemen, against this mighty force. Initially, the Muslims had 1,000 soldiers, but Abdullah ibn Ubay, the leader of the hypocrites, convinced 300 to abandon the mission, leaving the believers to rely on faith, not numbers. This betrayal is mentioned in the Quran as a warning about the hypocrites.
لو خرجوا فيكم ما زادوكم إلا خبالا ولأوضعوا خلالكم يبغونكم الفتنة وفيكم سماعون لهم والله عليم بالظالمين.
The Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, carefully positioned his troops near Mount Uhud, appointing Abdullah ibn Jubair, may Allah be pleased with him, to lead the archers stationed at Jabal al-Rumah, the mountain of archers. His instructions were clear: do not leave your position, even if you see birds pecking at our corpses. Stay until I send for you. The battle began, and the Muslim army struck decisively, targeting key Quraysh leaders. Legends like Hamza ibn Abdul Muttalib, may Allah be pleased with him, also known as the Lion of Allah, fought with unmatched bravery. But amidst the triumph, tragedy loomed. Hamza, may Allah be pleased with him, was killed in one of the most devastating moments of the battle. His killer, Washi bin Harb, was an Abyssinian slave promised freedom by Hind if he succeeded in taking Hamza's life. But the story doesn't end there. Hind, driven by hatred, committed an act that shook the companions to their core. She mutilated Hamza's body, eating his liver in an act of vengeance. As someone named Hamza, this moment is deeply personal to me. It's impossible to tell this story without feeling the profound pain of his loss. He was not just the Prophet's, peace and blessings be upon him, uncle. He was a hero, a protector, and a symbol of unwavering faith. Despite this heartbreaking loss, the Muslims pressed on, forcing the Quraysh to retreat. But what followed became a turning point. The archers, seeing what appeared to be victory, disobeyed the prophets, peace and blessings be upon him, command, and left their positions to collect the spoils of war. This decision allowed Khalid bin al-Walid, a brilliant military strategist, to seize the opportunity. Khalid, commanding the Quraysh cavalry, quickly regrouped his forces and led a surprise attack from behind, exploiting the gap left by the archers. His precision and tactical genius turned the tide of the battle, throwing the Muslim ranks into disarray. Khalid bin al-Walid's contribution to the Quraysh's victory at Uhud would later be remembered as a defining moment in his early career. However, this same Khalid, known as the Sword of Quraysh at the time, would later accept Islam and become one of its greatest defenders. As the Sword of Allah, Khalid bin al-Walid would lead the Muslims to numerous victories, helping to expand the reach of Islam across the Arabian Peninsula and beyond. Chaos erupted on the battlefield. Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, amidst the confusion, became a target of the Quraysh. A rock struck his face, causing his lower lip to bruise and his tooth to chip, leaving him bleeding. His helmet was damaged, and its rings pressed painfully into his face, cutting into his skin. Blood streamed down his cheeks as he wiped it away with trembling hands, saying, "How can a people prosper who have stained their prophet's face with blood, while he simply called them to their Lord?" This moment of despair is beautifully captured in the Quran.
ولا تهنوا في ابتغاء القوم إن تكونوا تألمون فإنهم يألمون كما تألمون وترجون من الله ما لا يرجون وكان الله عليما حكيما.
The Prophet's companions, overwhelmed with grief, rushed to his side. The beloved Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, though wounded and in immense pain, displayed an extraordinary level of courage and calm. His presence alone rallied the disheartened soldiers, and despite his injuries, he continued to lead them to safety. Musab bin Umayr, may Allah be pleased with him, who resembled the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, was also killed by the Quraysh during this chaotic moment. This led to a widespread rumor that Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, himself had been killed, further plunging the Muslim army into despair. But hope was reignited when Ka'b bin Malik, may Allah be pleased with him, spotted the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, alive and called out, "O Muslims, rejoice! Here is the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him." This cry brought the companions rushing to protect him, forming a protective shield of 30 men around him as they retreated to higher ground. The battle ended with 70 Muslims lost, including great figures like Hamza ibn Abdul Muttalib and Musab bin Umayr, may Allah be pleased with them. The Quraysh claimed victory, but their ultimate goal, to destroy the Muslims, remained unfulfilled. As the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, and his companions buried their lost, the following verse was revealed, reminding them that even in loss, there is wisdom and divine guidance.
ولا تهنوا ولا تحزنوا وأنتم الأعلون إن كنتم مؤمنين.
The journey isn't over. In my next video, we'll uncover how the Muslims faced an even greater threat during the Battle of the Trench, where their resilience and brilliance turned the tide against all odds. Subscribe to join me as we dive into this remarkable chapter of Islamic history.